hopefully some of that will be of benefit to you all as you stand at that door. I describe it as being really at a crossroads to adulthood in terms of where you all are headed. You're kind of at a big door, really being your responsibility and not so much that of your parents, although your parents will never really quit worrying about you in that regard. And as Reverend Torrance and the other speakers have told you many times, preparation really is the key to much of life. So let's step back a bit, if you will, from the future, what you want to be in the future, to kind of where you are. You all are in different grades. I think there's some middle schoolers and some high schoolers in there. But kind of where you're going to be is a function of where you are and what you do directly today. You hear a lot of talk today as you all are on Instagram or whatever young folks are using. I know nobody your age uses Facebook anymore, but when you're on Instagram or TikTok or all those sorts of things, or people talk about social media influencers. People talk about them who don't even know what they are, if you ask me. So, many think it's about getting as many people looking at you as you possibly can, paying attention to you, watching your every move and twitch and argument that you may have. I would suggest to you humbly that if you're really making a difference in this world, doing what you were put here to do, people will pay attention to you naturally at some point. You don't have to holler and scream or take all your clothes off or fight or clown to get that kind of attention. If you're doing what the Lord put you here to do, you will get the attention you need from the people that you need to get it from. So, and a way to start doing that, again, given kind of where you all are sitting now and working now, I should say, is to start thinking of yourself, not any teams you may be on. Teamwork is fine, teamwork is important, teamwork is critical, but start thinking of yourself as a brand. Really think of yourself as your own brand. You hear people talk about, well, I'm branding, I'm a social media brand, but start thinking of yourself as a brand. Just like Nike is a brand, the Atlanta Falcons are a brand, BMW is a brand, or any of the crazy TV shows on whose people we are on there we can name, they think of themselves as brands and influencers. So start thinking of yourself as your own brand, hopefully a positive brand, a good brand, the brand that will help you lift yourself and those around you to the place where really we need to be going as a people. And I say that as African-American people, I say that as people of color, I say that really as a human race. Any brand that I named or that you can think of is really the result of a lot of hard work to get to the point where people notice it. So, and I will ask you to start doing that with yourself. If you're doing it now, fine, you're ahead of the game. If you're like I was in high school, where you were kind of just sitting back waiting for something to happen or things to fall into place, start working on yourself, working on what you want to do, who you want to be, and what you want to be. Now's the time to start doing that, no matter what grade you're in. I know we're all in virtual school now, but I'll talk a little bit on that about ways and things that you should be doing. And to start that off a little bit, I'll say that I believe, and I've heard preachers and non-preachers say this, that I believe all of us were put on this earth to do something unique. I've heard it described as, well, everybody says it, every person is unique, but I believe God put us here to do something. It may be something small, medium, large, supersized, whatever adjective you want to attach to it. But if you aren't in a position to get that work done, if you aren't prepared to do it, if you can't do it for whatever reason, then this world loses out on that because it doesn't get done. So I would keep that in mind as you move forward. I wish somebody had told me that when I was your age. We're all put here for some purpose. Martin Luther King said that, but it's something that I would keep first and foremost in my mind. That thing may be world changing, maybe something only you and God see. Most likely it's somewhere in between on that. A first step toward setting up your brand is figuring out what you really think you want to do in this world. That may change. It probably will change as you go along. You may find something you like better, or you may dislike the thing you wanted. But start thinking about what you want to do now. If you don't do that, something will be done to you, in other words, and the world will put you someplace and set you someplace you might not really want to be. So do for yourself, or it may be done to you. Late Honorable Elijah Muhammad was fond of saying, do for self. So I think that works for us as a people. It works for people as individuals as well. So you want to be, along with the help of the good Lord and your family and what others who have your good interests at heart, you want to be the driver in your own life. And one end goal there is to figure out what steps you need to be taking after high school. I had a slide, and some folks who heard me speak before at the session may have heard me talk about STE, what I call. It's something I came up with called strategy, tactics, and execution. The strategy is kind of the big picture of what you want to be. The tactics is the work and the day in, day out that will get you there. And the execution is how you go about it second by second, day by day, minute by minute to pull that off. So the goal is to get you in a position to, in a world that runs more so than it should on money and power, not so much to get you power for power's sake, but to get you in a position to be able to support yourself, earn enough money to support yourself. I'm stealing from Deacon Stevens here for a few seconds.
It's fine.
To get you in the position to be a provider for yourself and others, the family you may have one day, and be able to bless your parents for all they've done for you. I'm still kind of waiting for my kids to do that for me, but hopefully they will get to that at some point. And the path on that, as much as it may look like a straight line, it probably won't be one. There are going to be some crooks and some curves there. It's going to look like a country Georgia road, more than likely. You're going to turn this way probably, you're going to turn that. You may change your mind more than once, and that's okay. But the goal is to keep in mind where you want to be, where you want to end up, at top of mind there. And there are multiple choices and paths before you. The topic here is life beyond high school. Most anything you do will probably involve some additional training beyond high school. I know many of you all are probably sick of school. I was sick of school as a high school student, and that affected what I did. But keep in mind that it's an investment you're making in yourself to get to where you want to be. Most every job, they tell me, will require some kind of training. It may be a couple of weeks course, maybe a couple of months course, depending on what you're doing, and maybe a 2-year college degree, maybe a 4-year college degree. It may be something that you do by signing up for the military. So there are a lot of options out there, and I will ask you a little bit later to start thinking about those and studying them. I know it still is the case that college is seen as kind of the gold standard of the next step, if you will, of achievement, either 2-year, 4-year, or one of the tech schools or a 4-year school. That's great, but it's not for everybody. There are a lot of folks who go who probably would have been better off in a training program. There are folks who didn't go to college who should have gone. So either way, again, something I think in this world gets left undone when you aren't kind of on the right path where you should be. So I think prayer, work with your families, work with your schools, work with your counselors will help get you on the right path, because you really want to be where you need to be, because the world needs you, the effort that all of us really produce. It really comes down to, among other things, how hard you're willing to work. And are you willing to do, again, apologies, Deacon Stevens, are you willing to invest in yourself for a few years, delay your gratification, be broke basically as a college student while all your buddies may be driving around in fancy cars because they got a nice job somewhere, and you're taking MARTA to school, trying to go for the long game. So it depends on what you're willing to do. Not everybody is able to or willing to make that deferred investment in themselves, and that's fine. But the payoff can be worth it. If you invest in yourself today and put your money towards some sort of schooling of some sort, the payoff down the road is there. You can Google some numbers that can become clear to you. A lot of careers, there are a lot out there. Running the gamut, from police and firefighters, the construction trades make good. Georgia Power linemen make very good money, more than a lot of people with college careers. Doesn't require a college degree, but again, the military offers all sorts of options to do things. The key point at this point is to know yourself. Shakespeare, I believe, said that. The Bible says it in some manner. Know yourself, what you like to do and what you don't like to do. I did not like math. I wish I had, because that would have affected my career options. But be honest with yourself in that regard. You don't want to set yourself up for a job and a career in the future that you will dislike or even hate. So life's too short for that. So with that point, I would say to you, between now and graduation, do some dreaming, do some thinking about what you want to do in your life after high school. Again, don't lock it in on one thing just yet. If you're a senior, yeah, you'll be farther down the path than, say, a junior would, or a sophomore would, or a freshman would. If you're a freshman or sophomore, or even in middle school, you've got some time, a little bit to think about it. But start thinking now. As part of that, explore, ask questions, look around at jobs you may know or you see on TV that people may have that you like, or you think you would like, or that you've seen or heard about. At your church that you may go to, or in your neighborhood, there may be people doing all sorts of things that you may or may not know about. Ask them some questions. I've almost never met a person who does not love to talk about what they do and tell what they know. That's a secret to understanding people. Well, hey, Dr. Trammell, hey, I'm interested in being a doctor or a nurse or a medical technologist, or doing some sort of work in the medical field. What's that about? If you start them talking, you might not be able to get them to stop. So it's a ditto for Deacon Stevens in the world of banking and commerce and finance. Talk to people, find out what they know, find out what information they have for you, or what they wish they had known when they were your age. And in addition to that, the greatest information source the world has ever had is at your fingertips, and you're using it right now with your computer. So, and it's Google or whatever browser you may use. You can use that to find out. You can Google any job or information. I was Googling psychology the other day for someone. Trying to find out some information about that, and I've Googled other careers and kind of driven my kids toward that. Just search, check it out. Don't let others limit your vision or your dreams, or limit your vision and dreams to what may be in front of you, perhaps. There wasn't a lot in front of me in the neighborhood in high school where I attended. So God blessed me to be able to see some things outside of that. I wish I had seen more. I wish there had been a Google around when I could have just clicked in some things rather than have to get out the house and go to the library and run around, look around, and have a limited base of knowledge before me. The knowledge before you really is infinite. Use your resources at school, especially. I was pretty quiet in school. I didn't say much, didn't talk much. My counselor barely knew me. If I had to do it again, I would have found a program like this. Reverend Torrance, I know, has talked about how to present yourself, how to greet people, how to have a firm handshake, look people in the eye, ask direct questions. Start doing that, even if it's at school. If you don't know your counselor, introduce yourself to him or her. Walk around the career counseling office, see what kind of resources they've got there. When my kids were in school, I was amazed how much information was out there and how little people used it, particularly folks who look like us. The white folks all had their hookups. They had family hookups. Well, gee, Dad went to UGA. I'm going to go there too because I have that hookup. I didn't have that advantage, and many of us don't. So we have to kind of find out our paths and our networks on our own. So you've got a lot of tools on how to do that in this program. So now's the time really to put them to use. In closing, after high school, what's going to get you where you want to be, or as close to it as you can be by whatever path necessary, so to speak, is hard work. Smart work is perhaps more important than hard work. You want to work smart, get noticed for what you're doing. You want to do things that achieve results. Keep at it, even when it looks like there's no end in sight, to just kind of grinding away. And you need to have faith in yourself and in God, and God will see you through to greater success in life. Lastly, also, don't sell yourself short. I can't stress that enough. And don't let people encourage you. There are a lot of people who may not be able to see where you're trying to go. They want to They may want to keep you with them where they are, stuck in their slot in life, or trench in life, or hole in life, wherever they may be. They don't know any better, and they don't think anybody else should do something different. Again, it may not be something huge. It may just be something different that nobody in your neighborhood or your school has thought of. So there are going to be a lot of naysayers and folks out there trying to kill your dream. Now, a dream without work is sort of like what the Bible says about faith without work. It's dead. If you're going to have a dream, you got to be willing to work toward it. But don't let people stray you from that. Keep going. You don't want to do it to show them that they were wrong and go, nah, 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 nah. That's not the right reason to persevere and keep going. You want to show yourself that you were right. That's the ultimate. So you want to be in alignment with the divine purpose for your life.
I can hear you, so
if you do all of that, you may well end up places your parents could have never imagined, your teachers could have never imagined. At some point, you couldn't have imagined it. Listen to your parents. They have wisdom, absorb their knowledge and experiences. The same for your teachers. Apply it where you can as you seek your own path in this world toward independence. Doing all of that is at times pretty lonely work. It can be difficult work. It will be difficult work, but it's worth it. You've gained powerful tools in this program. Now it's time to start using them, and I pray God's blessing upon your life. That's all I have to say. And now I guess maybe we have time, if I haven't talked for too long, we have time for a question or two if anybody has one. Thank you for listening.